Okay, so what we're going to do in this particular section is that I'm actually going to use Ken Puls recipes for creating a dynamic calendar table. It just means then that it's going to automatically map to the data and it's always going to be up to date. So what I do first of all is I just go into my transactions table over here. I'm just going to go over to my data table view. Okay, we're okay. Go back into my report view. And first of all, I'm just going to bring this into Power Query. So just go to transform data. Step 1. Load. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my transactions table over here, because this is the table with the earliest date. And what I'm going to do then is I'm just going to do right click and I'm going to do a reference. So I'm going to create two kind of queries, one with a start date, one with an end date, and then I'm going to use create my calendar from that. So then I just go here to reference. Okay, and then what I do is I come over here to the date, and I'm just going to use the order date. Now, if you have multiple date tables, you're going to have to decide what date table most accurately reflects what you need to do. In this case, I'm just going to go with order date. So I just do right click order date, and I just go remove other columns. And then I come up here to this one, and I go to my date filters, and I say, choose this one, and it says is earliest, and this will identify the one I have here. Okay, and I don't have any duplicates. Okay, but I'm also just going to do this one here, remove duplicates in case I have them in the future. I then make sure this is a date. So I come up here to data type. Yep, it's okay, it's a date. And then I go to transform again. I'm going to put this so that it's the start of the year. And I just go to date. I go to year. And then I just choose start of year, because good practice in this says that your years should always kind of like have a begin date and end date, which maps to your start date and end date. I then right click here and I do a thing called drill down. And then I'm going to call this over here to my properties. I'm going to call this start date. Exactly as it is. And then I'm going to go to, let's say, up here to home. Let's say close and apply. And I'm just going to leave it as this one, as my start date here is this one. Okay. And then I go back to my transactions again. So I've got my start date done. I then repeat the same thing with my end date, transaction, reference. Okay. And I do the same thing again, the latest, same table, just with the latest date. And I choose my order date again, right click, move other columns. And then I right click up here, do filter again. Sorry, just choose from the filter here. I say date filters, and there it says I'm going to, let me just get eventually, is the latest. And then I do a right click again on this one and I go remove duplicates. So you have duplicate dates there. I'll make sure it's a date type, so it's a date, that's fine. And then I come up here then to transform. I go to date, I go to year, and I go to end of year this time. And then I right click on this one here. I choose drill down. And then I'm going to rename this to end date, exactly as I have it here, end date. No spaces. Okay, so now I have my start date and my end date one. So the now thing, what I next to do is that I've got going to do a new query. Okay, so now I'm still in my data query piece, so I go up here to my new source, and I go down to blank query. Right. And when I do this in the formula bar, I go equals, curly bracket, left curly bracket, type in number, and notice that this is case sensitive, and I go full stop, and I scroll down till I get from, And then I open my bracket and I type in start date. There you see, there I've got it done. From start date, go to the right between the two brackets again, put in 2 dots. And then I type in number from again, round bracket. And this time I type in end date, my other one. Close my brackets. I have my curly bracket. And then I come up here to tools. And I go to this one here. I go to transform. I go to table. Do a little tick here. That would make a big difference. Then I go to table. And then first one here. I don't want a delimiter. I'll leave that one. Okay. And I'm going to set this to a data type. So up here I come to this one. And just change this to date. And then I'm just going to rename this column 1 to date. And then I'm also going to rename this query, new query, to calendar. Okay, and then I come up here and I go close and apply. Close and apply. Apply changes. Loading up all the dates. There we go, and I now have my new calendar that I can customize any way I want to. All right, hope you found this bit useful. Mind yourself and take care. Bye.